This conference will now be recorded.
If you have any questions, you can unmute and speak out, or else you could also give your message in the chat window. Okay, let's begin now. So today's agenda is we'll get a big picture of DevOps, like what is DevOps, how DevOps works, why we need it, right? What is what, and the introduction for DevOps will be getting here, and also the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer. Because you should understand what is the role of a DevOps person in the projects, right? Where do you fit in? If you are a developer, if you are a fresher, if you are an ops person, where do you fit in? What do you do in a DevOps project? And the DevOps delivery pipeline and the DevOps tools and skills. Okay, these are the content we'll be covering today. Like you'll be getting a big picture of all these topics today. That is the agenda of today's class. And yeah, before we get in, let us first understand what is DevOps. See here in this batch, there are new participants, like completely freshers who are new to this topic. We are also having experienced people, right? So we'll be going with the pace that everyone can follow. Okay, we'll be going with the pace and we'll be going from the basics till advanced concepts. Okay, just please be patient and allow some time so that I'll take you through the whole content. Okay, because see, DevOps is not something which you can get or which you can expertise in a day or a two. Okay, allow some time. Okay, please be patient. Let me complete the introduction or the content so that you will get a clarity on it. Okay, so now let's begin. I'm showing a black screen. Are you all seeing the black screen? Please confirm me. Whenever I ask for a question, please confirm me through the chat window or else you can unmute and talk about it. Can you all see the black screen?
Yes.
Blackboard? Okay, thank you for confirming. So let us talk about what is DevOps. See, DevOps, the term itself shows that it's a combination of two terms, right? Like dev team and ops team. So what are the teams? What are these two teams? Who are the people involved here? See, if you're already into IT, you might be aware of what is a development team, ops team. Like I said, I'll go from the very basics. Okay, please be patient. Okay, that's for having a complete, clear, crystal clarity on the concepts. So let me talk about an application first. See, an application, any software application or a product, okay, developed by the IT companies, developed by the projects, will have so many people involved in it, isn't it? There are so many roles involved in developing an application or any software product. The major teams we'll be talking about here are development teams, QA team, and operations team. Okay, let us talk about these three teams today. Of course, there are many other people involved, many other teams involved. We'll be talking about these three teams here. So, yes. So, if you talk about developers, let us talk about the people involved here. We call them as the developers who are involved in development of an application, or else you may call them as programmers, correct? And QA people, you can call them as the QA automation test engineers, QA professionals, or else simply testers. Yeah. And ops team, yeah, we call them as like admins or else network technicians, maybe DBA, means these are all comes under ops teams. Yeah. So we call them as ops. And the major task of this development team is they write the code. Of course, they are involved in analyzing the requirements, designing the application, writing the code for the application. Also, they are also involved into customer feedback, means depending on the client feedback or the customer feedback, they make modifications to the code. They work on writing the logic, right? These are the major tasks of development team. And the major task of testing team is to test the application, means once the application is ready, the developers wrote the code, application is ready, testers will be writing test cases to test the application, right? It could be again manual testing or it could be automation testing, whatever it is, right? For automation testing, they might be again writing some test scripts. So whatever. So these are the major tasks of QA team. And ops team, yes, they'll be working or they'll be managing the servers, services on those servers. They'll be managing the database, logins, access, networks, all these would be taken care by ops team, right? So I'm talking about the three major or the main teams which involve in developing an application and taking it to end users, right? These are the major teams involved. And how they work. See, developers will write the code. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll include developer QA also under this development. Okay, developers QA. QA also I'm including into development and then ops. So we shall talk them as two teams now. So yeah, the major task for developers is to write the code, right? They will be working on logic. They'll be interacting with the client, understand the requirements, write the logic for the application. Testers write the test cases, find the bugs, again send the bugs to developers. They'll fix it. This is how it happens. So now, okay, developers are writing the code and testing the application because I included QA also here. Now, to perform these tasks, they may need some servers, isn't it? Or else, let's suppose they need some new service to test their application. So, meaning if they need any change to the infrastructure, this infrastructure management is taken care by ops team, isn't it? So, if developers, development team need any changes to this infrastructure, maybe if they want to launch a new server or some new services or any changes, they don't have permissions to configure or modify or manage the infrastructure, right? They would be requesting those changes to the ops teams. And ops teams should serve the request of dev team by providing the requirements they have, maybe a new service, maybe a new server, a change in the operating system, whatever it is. So in short, I can say infrastructure management is taken care by ops team, right? And for other teams to perform their task, again, infrastructure should be provided by ops team. Means you can say infrastructure support will be provided by this ops team. So this is one way they work together, like for infrastructure support and all. And another major thing is, let's suppose, okay, developers wrote the code. Testers have tested it by writing the test cases, okay, or else automation testing, they have tested the application. Once the application is returned, like it is developed, it is tested, now the application should be deployed, right? Deploy means run the application on different environments. And okay, I'm talking about deploying on the final environment, like the production, so end users can use it. So if the application has to deploy it onto the production environment, this application will be handed over to ops team. Again, here ops team comes into picture, isn't it? So developers write the code, testers test it, and once the application is ready for deployment, so it would be handed over to ops team. Ops team will run the application on the servers. Before doing that, ops teams have to prepare the infrastructure. Am I correct? Prepare the infrastructure so that your application can run. So to prepare this infrastructure, they have to, like, maybe let's talk about first, let's say they are running the application on server. They have to create the servers, right? They have to launch some services on the servers, which the application is, or else they may have to install some softwares like any software, Tomcat or a SQL, depending on the application. Am I correct? Suppose this is some Java application, some Java compatibilities, Java dependencies. So whatever required for this application, all these softwares should be installed on those servers. Also, they should install the proper versions of the softwares that are compatible for the application to run. Am I making sense? Isn't it? All these would be taken care by operations team. So when developers are handing over this application to ops team, they will also provide an instruction document. They'll also share this instruction document to the ops teams. This instruction document will have the steps of what are the softwares, which version of software should be installed on the servers for the application to run smoothly, isn't it? Because developers are the one who developed it, they know what are the versions that are compatible with the app. So in short, I'll put it this way. Now, yes, developers and QA team, this is dev team. Okay, I'm referring this as dev. They wrote the code, tested the application. Okay, now they were handing over this application to ops team. Along with this application, they were also handing the instruction document with all the steps of what are the compatibilities for the application to run. So yes, ops team by following this instruction document will prepare the servers. So in this process, there are certain challenges ops teams will face. The instruction document provided by dev team may be having some steps missing, or else some steps may not be working, correct? There might be some configuration differences, means let's say ops team have to run the application on different servers, let's say Windows, Linux. So again, these steps may be different, right? So they have to work on it to fix the issue, identify the proper steps, prepare the servers for running the application, correct? So these are the challenges they have, because the instruction document provided by dev team may not be understood by ops team completely sometimes. So all this takes time to overcome the challenges and run the application smoothly. Means it takes a lot of time, maybe some months after the application is ready for deployment. So yeah, what is happening here? Finally, your deployment becomes slower, right? So let's say application code is ready by let's say August, it is completely tested by September, maybe November, also application may be deployed. It's not deployed immediately, right? So I am talking about the traditional approach. This is how the application will be developed in the company, right? This is the high level picture of what is happening and why deployment is becoming slower. Again, with this part, all of you, am I clear? Any questions from anyone? Can I go ahead? Please confirm me. If you have any questions, you can put your questions, or else please confirm me to proceed. Can I go ahead? Or any questions?
Yeah, Preethi, please carry on.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for confirming. I believe the same is the case with everyone, or else if you have any question, let me know. So this is the traditional approach, right? So developer ops teams take a lot of time because they cannot understand the instruction document provided by development team. Also, there is no proper communication channel between this development team and ops team. No proper channel for communication between them, right? So there's a lot of gap between the teams, right? There's a communication gap. There is no proper collaboration between the teams, right? So that they can communicate, they can work together so that deployment becomes faster. So how to overcome this gap? How to establish a proper collaboration between them? So there came a methodology called DevOps. So DevOps is a methodology that came into picture, which can eliminate the gap, which can establish proper collaboration between the teams. Means what is a dev team? See, in the traditional approach, developers are writing the code, QA people are involved who will test the application, and they are handing over application to ops team in the traditional approach. But now in DevOps approach, development team will write the code, will test it, and they were handing over the application to DevOps team rather than to ops team. So what is this DevOps team? DevOps team is nothing but who are involved in the process of automating the application to deployment. Means once code is ready, once test cases are ready, okay, how to, means what are the steps involved after the code is ready, what are all the steps involved in taking the application to production automatically, how to automate this complete process of taking your application to production servers. In this process, DevOps team is involved. Means this DevOps team will be having some understanding of what are the steps that should happen after writing the code, how to take the application to production servers, right? How to automate it. So that's where DevOps teams comes in. So DevOps is nothing but the process of automating the application deployment to production servers automatically. That's what is DevOps team involved into, right? What is the process? What are the strategies involved? What are the tools involved? That is what we'll be learning here. Once code is ready, once test case are ready, DevOps teams should be able to build the code, test the application, means run those test cases. Okay, run those test cases automatically. The complete process of automation of taking your application, taking your code to deployment servers is what is DevOps. So what are all the steps involved here? Yes, continuous builds happen, continuous integration, continuous testing means test cases will be written by testers. Code is written by developers. So once code is ready, once test case are ready, how to build the code, integrate it, test it automatically to deployment. This is where DevOps comes into, right? So we should be learning all the tools, all the strategies which are required to automate this complete process of taking the code to production servers. That's what is DevOps. So you may be having a question, who will fit in here? Yes, if you are a developer, yes, you are fit to this DevOps role, because once code is written, how to automate the process. Yes, you are eligible for this. A tester can be working here, an ops person is eligible for the role. Okay, here a developer will not write the code. There will be a separate team of developers who write the code. Okay, anyone or else a fresher is also eligible here, because if you know the process of automating the code to deployment, yes, you are eligible for this. So how do you automate the code to deployment? What are the different tools involved in this process? What are the different strategies involved here? That is what we'll be learning in our course. So to put it in short, in brief, let me tell you, DevOps is nothing but whenever developer write the code, any code, suppose developer wrote the code, I need a process of automation. Immediately, it should trigger the process of automation to deployment. How do you automate all this process? What are the process involved here? Once developer wrote the code, what are the different steps involved here? That is what is DevOps. Means continuous development, developers write the code, continuous testing, run the test cases given by testers, integrate the code into the system multiple times, deploy it, monitor it. Continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous development, continuous monitoring is called DevOps. The term continuous is important because for every code change, the whole process happens. So thereby providing quality products. Okay, you can expect quality products, faster deployments, economical because you are automating the whole process and less number of people will be working once you automate the process. With a single click, the entire process can be automated, which is DevOps. Got it, everyone? See, to make the things more clear, what I'll do is I'll also talk about the other reasons why DevOps came in. We just discussed that DevOps came in to overcome the gap between the teams, right? And also to have the teams collaborate well and also to automate the process, right? So why is this no automation not happening in the traditional approaches? Let me also explain you that, and then again I'll come back and talk about what is DevOps. Okay, so first let us concentrate on why DevOps came in. So first thing is to eliminate the gap between the teams, to open a proper communication channel between the teams, proper collaboration between the teams, right? Also to automate the complete workflow. Once developer wrote the code, from there the entire process automated till the code hits the production servers. The best example is Facebook. I'll talk about it again in a while. Also, now let us talk about other reasons why DevOps came in. What are the other reasons why DevOps came in? To understand other reasons, let us talk about the traditional software development life cycle. I believe you all know the software development life cycle. What is a software development life cycle? Yes?
Gathering requirements and
Yes, it's
analysis.
nothing but a sequence of activities involved in developing an application, right? Like, yeah, there are different activities involved, like requirement gathering. This is for any freshers here. Requirement gathering, analysis, design, coding, testing, and release, right? Or delivery. So these are the different steps involved in SDLC. Yes, I'm talking about the typical waterfall model which served the industry for decades. Correct? These are the different phases involved. They go in a sequence. But this methodology poses lot many challenges for both the dev team and ops team. Correct? What are the challenges of this waterfall methodology? It has lot many drawbacks posed for the teams. First thing is it's a very slow model. Am I correct? Suppose code is ready now in September. Code is ready. It would be tested maybe on November or so after a couple of months. Meanwhile, developers will be working on new code. Then testers will start testing and comes bugs in the old code. Developers have to keep this new code aside, fix the bugs in the old code. So there'll be a lot of pressure on developers to work on both the new code and old code, right? So there'll be a lot of pressure. The process very slow also because testing is happening after 2 months, takes a lot of time. Testing should be done at the early stages, right? So this is one of the challenges. Also, this methodology is not flexible enough. Meaning, suppose this is the methodology, these are the different phases, right? They go one after the other. Suppose they are in coding phase. If client comes with new requirements or modifications to the requirements, they are not accepted. Yeah, let's suppose requirements are given or freezed on 2020. Maybe all the application development may take 2 years, 2022. Meanwhile, no modifications, no new requirements are accepted. It's not flexible, no going back. It just goes only in one direction and hence waterfall model. If that is the case, requirements might have completely changed in these 2 years. Client doesn't need the product anymore, right? Because today almost every client comes with the modifications and new requirements because it's a customer facing world. Yeah, so it doesn't work in reality, it's not flexible. Also, complete software will be delivered all at once, like I just said. Maybe after 2 years, complete product will be delivered, which is not an appreciable methodology nowadays. It doesn't work in reality. So these are the challenges for dev team. Similarly, there are also challenges for our ops team. Maintaining server uptime for longer duration. Because like I said, it's a slow methodology. Servers should be up for longer duration. Maintaining server uptime for longer duration manually. I'm talking about manually without any tools is again a challenge. No proper configuration management. See, configuration management is a separate concept. We'll deal with it in detail. Here, just understand if you have huge infrastructure. Okay, if you want to install any packages, if you want to install any servers, anything, you have to log in and do that, which becomes again a huge, tedious job. Also, monitoring, poor monitoring, because we are not using any tools, everything is happening manually. So you cannot just monitor each single server manually. So these are all the challenges posed by the waterfall methodology. So how to overcome these challenges? Is there any, what happened, like which methodology came in to overcome the challenges of this waterfall methodology?
Agile
Yes,
is one of the next.
exactly. That's where again Agile came in. Okay, but Agile was successful to certain extent. Means it can overcome challenges of our dev team, but challenges of ops team are still there. Yes. Anyone? Any question you have? Hello.
I want us to reference um SDLC like rapid prototype
Hello.
like iterate. Can you hear me? Hello, can you
There
hear
is
me?
a lot of background noise for that. There is a lot of background noise. Can you put your question in the chat window? I don't know. There's a lot of background noise from your end. Hello. Can you please put your question in the chat? Can you write your question here?
Okay, I'm doing that already.
Huh? Hello. Am I audible for all of you clearly?
Yes, Preethi, you are audible.
Okay. There is no background from my end, right? Is there any noise from my end?
Your voice is resounding sometimes.
Okay. 1 minute, 1 minute. Can you all hear me now? Is it also still resounding or is it fine?
Fine.
Just give me 1 second. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Resounds, we're getting resounds, Preethi.
Yes, I can
Oh,
hear
you
you
are
clearly.
sorry?
I can hear you clearly, but I think you did not get my question clear. I'm trying to type. I said if you look at software development life cycle like rapid prototype, whereby you have to go through iteration in case you develop a particular application and then you want to test, you test, go forward.
You're talking about
So,
rapid prototype, right, Fatai?
yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes, I got it. Just give me a minute. There is a background noise from my end, right? I'm just trying to adjust it. Give me 1 second, please. Am I good now? Is the audio part
Yes,
good now?
Yes,
yes,
yes.
fine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Sorry about the disturbance. So yeah, see here, yeah, there are also other prototypes that came in. Okay, just I'm trying to give you the gist of the traditional approaches, the more widely used traditional approaches, so that you could understand the importance of DevOps. Okay, here our idea is not, you need not learn about waterfall methodology or agile and all. Just to bring you the importance of DevOps, I'm just highlighting some of the major development process. That's all. Yes, of course, there are other prototypes came in which helped in rapid development and deployment. But how DevOps gained its importance, I'll talk about it in a while. Okay, so yeah, Agile came in the major, more widely used methodology, but operations tasks were not automated or they were not accelerated. Okay, it was still the same manual deployment process in the operations task. Okay, but anyhow, it was successful to this extent. How it was successful? What are the steps involved in Agile? Let me just give you a brief about it. See, there were faster releases. Okay, every week or every alternative week, there might be a release. Means code is developed in chunks, in bits and parts. So that a chunk of code, if it is developed, it would be immediately going for testing and release. So faster releases, bug fixing became faster because let's say on week 1 some code is developed, it's immediately going for testing. It's not tested after some 2 months or 3 months. So bug fixing became faster, code is always stable and ready for release. So because Agile implements these concepts, yes, it could overcome the challenges of dev team. Here, because I'm talking about Agile, I should highlight a few concepts or methodologies or strategies implemented in Agile. Like in Agile, you have continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration. Because of this, frequent releases are possible. Code is always stable and ready for release, right? So what is meant by continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration? See, let's suppose on week 1, developers are developing a chunk of code, a bit of code called A. Okay, then let's say that's a part of code. Developers are writing it. On week 2, immediately this chunk of code will be going for testing. Week 2, developers are not sitting idle. They will develop another bit of code. Okay, on week 3, again this B will be tested. Okay, developers will be developing again another part of the code. Again on week 4, at some point, definitely A and B will be combined and tested, right? Then only it makes a complete product. So this is nothing but because if you notice, every week development testing are happening parallelly, iteratively, continuously, right? So both development and testing are happening parallelly and continuously. So that is what is continuous development, continuous testing, and continuous integration. Also, any change made was merged into the system. Anyway, we'll talk about this process in detail in the course. So yeah, because it implements this methodology, every week development testing are happening parallelly. So thereby it could overcome the challenges of development team. But challenges of ops team are still there, right? So how to overcome means we need a methodology which can overcome challenges of both the teams, right? That's where actually DevOps came in. So why DevOps came in? To overcome the gap between the teams, to have a proper communication and collaboration between the teams, to automate the complete workflow, and also to overcome the drawbacks posed by the traditional software methodologies. These are the reasons why DevOps came in. Right. Now let us again talk about what is DevOps. So what is DevOps now? DevOps is a methodology. It's not a programming language or it's not a tool. It's a methodology wherein you have continuous development. Continuous testing means whenever developer write the code, it would be tested, integrated, deployed automatically, then monitored. Means any code change made by developers will hit the production servers automatically. This automation process is DevOps. So many tools are involved here. So many strategies are involved here. The best example for this is Facebook. Yes, in Facebook, you have continuous deployments through DevOps. See, can you imagine in Facebook in an overnight, you may see a lot of new features. Have you imagined how this could happen so faster without any maintenance, without any downtime for the application? Isn't it? This is the process involved. Any new feature developed will hit the production servers automatically. Of course, they'll hit the lower environments than the production. But yes, it is all automated, no manual intervention. So that's a Facebook is a very best example. Many of the gigantic companies we are using like Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, these are all the great examples which are already implementing DevOps. If you take Amazon, in an overnight, they may put some sale. You may see lot many new features in an overnight without any downtime to your application. Am I correct or not? We'll be using this Facebook, Amazon daily. So yeah, that's wonderful, isn't it? We never see the downtime, but we always see the new features immediately working fine. So that's the approach involved, right? So your application, like I'm talking about, is let's take a Facebook. So developers write the code for it. Testers will be writing test cases for it. Once code is ready, test case are ready, the whole automation process is nothing but CI/CD pipeline, wherein you will be working on. We'll be working on creating, designing this delivery pipeline and automating the whole process. So how this happen? What are all the tools we need? What are all the strategies we need? We will be learning. If you are a developer, yes, you are eligible for it. If you are a fresher, yes, you are eligible if you learn the tools and strategies involved here, right? Let me also try to differentiate this with respect to the other methodologies. If you talk about the process, the major process in waterfall methodology is like development, testing, deployment, and monitor. Here each happens one after the other. One after the other means once complete coding is done, then testing begins. After complete testing, application would be deployed and so on. But in Agile, development testing are happening iteratively, parallelly. Means development testing will be happening parallel. It's not that after complete development testing begins. No, but deployment become again manual. After complete integration and testing, it could be deployed and monitored. So then came DevOps, where you have continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, along with the deployment and monitoring. Like I already said, any code developed will go through the process of automation. What is the use? Quality. Every change is going through testing, integration, deployment to lower level environments before it is deployed to production and then monitored continuously. Feedback is sent after monitoring with respect to application, servers, and so on. Right? This is what is DevOps, the high level or the big picture of DevOps. As we step into the course, we'll be zooming into every part, like how you can pull the code. Okay, developer is ready with the code. How do you pull it, build it, test it, deploy it? How do you automate this process? We'll zoom into every phase here and we'll learn here. And also, not only that, here we are just learning the tools. We'll also put these tools together and see these tools in action so that you can work in your projects more confidently and face the interviews, right? Because we should learn the scenarios which are similar to our work environment so that you can work in your projects. That is the main agenda of the course. Okay. Any questions in this part? Got it clear? You need not learn about Agile or Waterfall and all. Okay. Just understand Your DevOps came in to overcome the challenges of those methodologies. That's what you have to understand. Got it, everyone? Till now we have discussed about what is DevOps, why DevOps came in. In few minutes, I'll talking about what are all the tools we'll be learning here, how you will use the tools together. Can I go ahead? Appreciate your responses. Shall I move? Or any questions from anyone?
Yeah, Preethi, please carry on.
Right. Thank you. So this is the presentation. Whatever I have explained, I have just mentioned here, like development team is a combination of dev, QA, DevOps team is a combination of different people working together, right? See, here when I say, you might be having again, maybe some of you, if anyone have the confusion, see, developers, QA person, ops person, or else a fresher, or else anyone from a different background can work in the DevOps project, okay, by learning the tools and strategies. Okay, so if you are working in the DevOps project, you will be working in the automation process. Development team will be separate. If you are interested in writing the code, you should be working in the development team who work for developing the application, who write the code. A developer involved in DevOps project will be involved in automating the process of taking the code to deployment. Okay, this part you should get clarity on. Now, yeah, whatever I have explained is your like waterfall methodology. This is like a notes for you. I'll share it for a quick reference after the class. Drawbacks of waterfall methodology, what agile methodology it is, what are the drawbacks of it, and what is DevOps. And yeah, see the differentiation I have explained, like in waterfall, you have designing, coding, then testing and deployment. In agile, coding, testing were continuous, but again, deployment was at the end. But now in DevOps, even deployment was iterative. Means any new feature developed will hit the production servers and the process will continue. Okay. And then the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps person, like I discussed, you will be working in the delivery pipeline or in the automation process of taking your code to deployment. There are a lot of process, lot of tools involved there. I'll talk about them also. Yeah, let's have a look at the tools we'll be covering in our course. See, these are all the tools which every DevOps person should know. A version control system. Okay, you should have an understanding of version control system. What is a version control system and all we'll talk about in each chapter. I have allocated a separate chapter for each tool. Okay, if you check the course content, we have separate chapters for each tool. So I'm just giving you a list of the tools we'll be covering. Version control system, see there are so many other tools in the category, like you have SVN, TFS, but here we are covering the more widely used tools, the market leaders under this category. So if you master one tool under each category, that is great. So we'll be covering Git, we'll be covering Maven here, continuous integration tool Jenkins, Docker, Ansible, Terraform. Both are infrastructure as code tools, but what is the difference between them? Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, Prometheus with Grafana, and AWS services, which are useful, which are helpful in implementing the DevOps strategy. Okay, this is the complete list of tools and the services we'll be learning in our course. Okay. Any questions on this part? What each tool does, I'll explain you. Okay, what is a version control tool? What is a build tool? We'll discuss what are these tools, where do these tools work. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, under Docker, we have a lot of content there, Docker Swarm, Docker Compose, and deploying microservice applications, and lot many things. And also, like I already said, it's not just learning each tool separately. Okay, we'll put all of them together into action and replicate the real-time scenarios so that you would be confident enough to work in your projects independently and face the interviews. Okay, that's the main agenda of the course. Yes, this is the delivery pipeline I'm talking about few minutes back. Yeah, see if you look in here, this is the delivery pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. I think you all could see the screen clearly. Can you all see each part here clearly, or should I zoom in? Can you all see the page components, every component clearly?
Can you
Okay,
zoom in a bit?
1 minute. I'll provide the document with you. Okay, you can zoom in from your end. Okay, I'll share the document in a while. So let me talk about the pipeline here. See, this is a team of developers. Do you see here? This is a team of developers who write the code and place it in a version control system like it. So what is a version control system? See, I'm just giving a one-line note of the tool here. Okay, version control system means which can help you backup of your code, which can help you maintain versions of your code. Because in a development team, there might be so many programmers, so many developers working in, they'll write the code. To store the code safely, to have the versions of the code, to maintain the code, to maintain the backups of the code, they place the code in a version control system like it. So I'm just defining the tools with one word. Okay, we'll elaborate, we'll discuss everything in detail for each tool once we start the course. Okay. So version control system is nothing but which will maintain backups, versions, and provide security for the code. So developers will write the code, place the code in version control system. So this should act like a trigger. Means whenever developer write the code and place it on GitHub, I need a system. Listen here, please carefully. I need, or else a DevOps strategy needs a system which can sense that. Means that should work like a trigger. Our pipeline should sense that, pull the code and build it. What is meant by building the code? What is meant by building the code?
Integrating each build.
Yeah, see, compiling the code and packaging the code is nothing but building the code, right? Again, what is compiling? If you are having source code, it would be converted into executable code, right? And packaging means all your code will be converted into single ready to be deployable file, right? That is what is packaging. That's called building the code. So yes, I need a system which can pull the code and build it, right? So okay, fine, you'll have a system which can pull and build it. Again, see here, I need to automate it. I don't want to do this manually. So there comes some build automation tools into picture, like Maven, Ant, Gradle, or PyBuilder for Python projects, and so on. Some build automation tool. It could be any tool. If you learn one tool, other tools work in a similar fashion. The concepts will be similar. So yes, how to use Maven to build it. But what is the system that can help you do this? That is where again Jenkins comes in. Jenkins is like a heart of your delivery pipeline. Okay, it's like an orchestrator. Who is an orchestrator for a music band? There are a lot of musicians in a group. Who is an orchestrator there? Will he play any instrument? Will orchestrator play any instrument in the music band? In a music band of, let's say, 5 musicians, there'll be one orchestrator. He will not play any instrument. He will just wave his wand. You might have noticed it, right, in the concerts. He will just wave his hand and tell which tool should be played at what level, at what time. Got me? Yeah, same is the case here. Jenkins works like an orchestrator, or else in simple terms, manager. In Jenkins, we'll learn Jenkins again, but just let me tell you, you can create some jobs in Jenkins. Jobs are nothing but a task. Like you can create a build a task, test a task, deploy a task. Is that mean that Jenkins is building, testing, deploying? No. Jenkins will rather use some respective tools at the back end, like build automation tool like Maven. So job one will pull the code from GitHub, build it via Maven. Another test job. Test cases will be written by testers. Let's suppose testers have written Selenium test cases. This job will just run the test cases, deploy using some Docker, right? It's a Docker job. It will help you in deploying, or an Ansible job, and so on. So you could create different job in Jenkins by using the right tools. Then what is Jenkins here? Jenkins will just help you create these jobs, manage the job, so that job 1 will trigger job 2, job 2 will trigger job 3, and so on, and hence form a pipeline. Right? So job 1, let's suppose build. So it will pull the code, build it by using Maven. Once it is successful, builds are success, it will trigger the test cases. Means of course, first it would be deployed to test environments. Okay, then tested by with the test cases returned by testers. And once it is good, like test cases are working fine, then deploy using Docker, Ansible on a Kubernetes cluster by provisioning the environment with Terraform and so on. Right? Let me again highlight here. So pull the code, build it, continuous development, continuous builds, continuous testing, continuous deployment. First, is this much understood, everyone? I'll talk about deployment process in a while. Is this much clear for all of you?
Yes.
So via Jenkins, we'll pull it, build it, test it by using the right tools at the right time. You could also schedule the jobs so that when job 1 should trigger, when job should trigger, you can automate it. That's how the trigger is developer plays the code here. Immediately pull it, build it, test it, deploy it. Of course, here first deploy to test environments, test it. Then let's say this is the next higher level environment. Okay, so the same deployment process is applicable in test environment also, but I have highlighted here for the final stage of deployment. So in this deployment process, Docker can be involved, Ansible, Kubernetes cluster, Terraform, all this comes in. Of course, Terraform comes in provisioning your infrastructure. Means any server if you want in your pipeline, your Terraform can create it. Right? So your deployment servers can be created by it. So I just highlighted it. Okay. So Docker to pack and containerize your application. What does that mean? Okay. We'll elaborate in the respective chapters. Here, just try to get an overview. This is the pipeline we'll be creating in our course. Once it is deployed, monitor it with Prometheus. Okay. And you have a great dashboards with Grafana. I have updated the course content with the new tools and the strategies as per the market needs. So this is the pipeline we'll be creating in the course. Like I already said, we'll be putting them into action so that how can your code be like, how can you run a Docker job from Jenkins or execute your Ansible task from Jenkins and automate the entire trigger. So this designing the pipeline may take some months to do for the in the projects. Okay, slowly we'll begin from the beginning. From first, we'll start from here. We don't write the code. Okay, we'll take some code on from GitHub. So once the code is available, how do you build it via Jenkins? Once it is successful, how do you start the next task and so on? We'll be working on this delivery pipeline. We'll be learning each tool one by one, then work on creating this delivery pipeline. That is the agenda of the course. We'll be zooming into every part here as we progress, and finally create the pipeline. And yes, you could create the pipeline this way. There are also AWS services which help you implement these strategies on AWS platform. We'll also go through those AWS services which can help you implement this strategy on AWS platform. So that is the agenda of the course. We'll be talking about various deployment strategies as well. Okay, if you see the course content, you could go through the top. What is the function of ops team in the first 3 stages? A question from Fateh. Fateh, like I said, here ops team, there is no separate ops team, dev team and QA team. Okay, development team will be there who will write the code. This is separate team. Okay, QA team is there who will write the test cases, develop the test. That's a separate team. Now, DevOps team means who anyone can be there. A developer may be applied to this role. Ops person would be applied. Anyone, whoever working in the DevOps project should be working on these 3 phrases. Yes, an ops person could be working here. Once code is ready, an ops person should be able to build it. Sorry, able to pull it and build it automatically. So an ops person should be able to do it. A tester should be able to work at any stages of this pipeline. An ops person should be working in any stages in this pipeline. Ops person is nothing but whoever, like if you're an ops person, if you're working in a DevOps methodology, So you are a DevOps engineer. So you should be able to work at any stage here. In certain projects, okay, jobs will be assigned to each person. Okay, you might be a developer, A, B, these are different people in DevOps project. A may be a developer or a fresher, whoever it is. A might be assigned with this job, B might be assigned here, C might be working at this stage, and so on. Right? Whoever you are, whatever is your core background, you should be able to work at any stages here. For this, you don't need to write the code. Code will be written by developers and they'll place it here. Now, whoever working in DevOps project should be able to work at any stages in the pipeline. That's why we'll be learning all these tools and we'll be learning how to create this pipeline and how to automate the process of application till deployment. This is the main agenda of the course. End-to-end pipeline creation will be done in the course, and I'll be doing it on an application, on a code base. I'll also provide you some applications for you to do hands-on and go through. Got it, everyone? This is the agenda. Any more questions from your end? It will take time to understand how to create this and all. This is just an overview. Okay, in a day, in 1 day or in an hour, you cannot understand how to create it. How to create it? Yes, we'll start from tomorrow. But this is the pipeline we are going to create in our course. And the end-to-end scenarios of executing the delivery pipeline. See, initially in the DevOps project, more people may be needed in the designing this. Once it is designed, a single click of developer writing the code, entire process will be automated so that your code hits the production servers. What are the best strategies implemented there? How do you work on? Those are all the things we'll be concentrating here. So end-to-end CI/CD pipeline design will be covered with the real-time scenarios with the demonstration so that you could handle your DevOps interviews and the projects more confidently. That is the main agenda of the course. Any questions? Any more questions from anyone? And also let me walk you through the course content. This is the course content we'll be going through. Yeah, like the first part is like a overview of DevOps. Just give me a second. Yeah, what we have discussed, like what is DevOps, why DevOps came in, just the overview. Yes, from tomorrow onwards, we'll be starting with the version control system on it. Okay, before that, I'll also walk you through the lab environment setup, lab setup. We'll be creating our lab on AWS, how to connect to the instances on AWS, which instances we'll be using. So first, we'll discuss the lab setup and few Linux basics. May I know everyone is having Linux environment, like Linux basic knowledge here, or anyone new to Linux here?
New to Linux people.
Okay, what about others? Thank you, Rakesh, for confirming. What about other participants? Pallavi, Aravind, Pratyusha, so that it will help me to decide what basic Linux instrument I should.
I'm also new to Linux.
Okay. Yeah, there are participants new to Linux. So first, I'll take you through the Linux basics. Some Linux basics are required because DevOps tools, some of the DevOps tools needs Linux environment. Just the operating system basic commands working with the file system will do. So first, I'll take you through setting up the lab, some Linux basic commands for the first 2 days, and then we'll be starting with the module 2. Okay, we'll be talking about what is version control system, what are the types of version control systems, differences between different version control systems. No, I'll help you set up the lab tomorrow, Fateh. Okay, first thing is we'll set up the lab. Okay, you need not do anything on your own. I'll help you everything with that in the class. So first we'll set up the lab, then we'll learn a Linux basics to connect to Linux instances, and then we'll begin with this module 2. Okay, so yeah, how Git works, what are the different challenges, architecture of Git, and then build automation tool Maven. To whatever extent we need Maven as a DevOps person, that we'll learn, because Maven is a developer tool. So we just need an overview. That part we'll be going through. Again, Jenkins, from the basics till advanced concepts of running your Jenkins on Jenkins jobs on remote servers, master slave concept, creating the pipeline with a Jenkins file with a Groovy script. Okay, all these things will be covering. Again, containerization with the Docker, like what is Docker or Docker architecture. Not only just like I said, just learn the tool and go away. We'll implement it in our pipeline where you will see a lot many real use cases. Okay. And containerization using Docker, deploying microservice application with the Docker Compose and automating it through, again, how do you automate your Docker container deployment via Jenkins? Configuration management tool, then Ansible. Again, from basic till advanced, how do you deploy your Ansible playbooks via Jenkins? Kubernetes, again, because Kubernetes is having a lot of demand and very important tool, I have included advanced concepts also here, including stateful sets, persistent volumes, volume claims, okay, and then monitoring your Kubernetes cluster with Prometheus. Deploying microservice applications and monitoring them using Prometheus and Grafana, and also Helm charts will be covered. There's a lot of content. Again, Terraform, how do you provision your infrastructure with Terraform? Differences between Terraform and Ansible. Yeah, and Prometheus and Grafana, monitoring using Prometheus. How do you monitor Kubernetes cluster? How do you monitor an application? How do you monitor your Jenkins jobs with Prometheus? All this covered. And then cloud computing. Then we'll talk about, of course, by this time you'll be knowing certain services like EC2 instances automatically. Then we'll talk about S3 storage, load balancers, photo scaling groups. Then different AWS services used to implement DevOps strategy, like AWS code pipeline, code commit, code build, code deploy, and cloud formation. So that using these services will create the delivery pipeline. The main agenda is implementing DevOps strategy. So any questions from your end? Any more questions, concerns? If you have any other requirements from your end? Till now I was talking. Now you can speak out if you have any questions or concerns.
Hello. Hi, Preethi.
Yeah, hi Sharad. Tell me.
Yeah, Preethi, out of these two tools, which are the open source and which are the paid tools?
All the tools are open source here. Okay, whatever tools I have mentioned here, all of them are open source.
Okay, and what about the practice? Means you are providing the environment for to make the practice for ourselves?
I'll not provide the environment. I'll provide the steps. I'll show you how to create the environment on AWS. You can create a free account on AWS. Today itself, I'll share your document how to create an account on AWS, how to create a free account. Like any Gmail, you could create a free account on AWS. Okay, like you create a Google account and all. How to create a free account on AWS, I'll provide your document. Account creation you can do. Once you create the account, how do you create instances? How do you connect them? How to work with them? Linux basics, all the lab setup environment will do tomorrow. That's a second class. That's going to be a demo. Is nothing but our first class.
We don't require our system to make the to do the practice, miss, in the sense.
From your laptop, you will open your AWS account and do the hands-on there.
Okay.
Means you don't need to run local virtual machines on your laptop. Okay, you will be using some virtual machines on AWS. Okay, let me quickly show you so that you may get a better idea. 1 second. Like this, I have already created my free account on AWS. I'll provide you the steps how to create a free account. Okay, once you create your account and login, see, these are here are my EC2 instances, means just for now understand your virtual machines. So I can select them, I can start, I'll connect to them from my laptop and work on those instances. How to do that, I'll show you. Yes, Aravind, everyday recordings will be provided. Every day I'll share the recording, class recording for everyone. Even though you missed the session, you can watch the recording at your own pace. get back to me for the queries. I'll be available on WhatsApp to support your queries, because for DevOps, hands-on is very important. Okay, when you do the hands-on, you'll get so many questions, you'll maybe stuck up there. So I'll be available on WhatsApp to support you with your queries when you do the hands-on. Isn't it? Unless you do the hands-on and get your questions resolved, you cannot further proceed, right? So that kind of support I'll provide you. If I'm already in class, maybe I may be responding once I'm done, but definitely I'll respond on WhatsApp.
Thanks, Preethi.
Any more questions? Got it, Sharad, now about the lab?
Yeah. So any kind of expiry for this account, or we can use for or some limited time, means
Come again, please.
we use this account, AWS account, for a short period of time or for a long period of time.
For 1 year, you'll have the free tier eligibility.
So okay, so it is basically related to your company, means your company has purchased this one and then we can provide to us for this.
Correct.
Right?
No, this is by AWS, not my company. It's from Amazon Web Services.
Okay.
Amazon Web Services. Even I will also create a free account here. In your companies, means when you're working in the project, software companies will provide you this account. A paid accounts they'll provide you so that you will be working on them. So here for our lab, we'll be creating some free account for our practice.
Okay.
Got it, Sharat?
Yeah, got it.
Any more questions?
And one more thing, Preethi. So
Sorry?
you covered one end-to-end project for the same, means so that we get the hands-on.
Yes, of course. Yes, I'll be creating the pipeline. End-to-end pipeline will be created. Okay, I'll show you creating the end-to-end pipeline. If you have few minutes, I can show you the pipelines I was working on other classes. I'll show you the pipeline quickly. Other class is going on, so let me show you the pipeline which we created there. We'll be creating the end-to-end pipeline. Also, I'll give you some more examples, applications for you to do from your end also, so that you could try on your own, come back to me for any support you need. See, once you connect to your instance, like once you start your instance, it's running, right? That's nothing but your virtual machine. You can connect it with the public IP. How to connect everything, I'll show you. Don't worry now. Tomorrow, I'll show you that. See, this is your Jenkins I'm talking about, right? You will create everything via Jenkins. You can create your pipeline via Jenkins. It's taking time to load. Once you launch your Jenkins, we'll create some logins. All this will learn how to launch your Jenkins, how to create the credentials, everything. I'll just show you quickly the pipeline we have created some time back. See, this is a small pipeline. We didn't complete it because we were still going on. Docker is not yet completed. So till this much we have created with Git, Jenkins and Maven. Once this is done, yes, I'll continue this pipeline. We are going to continue this pipeline with the next deployment job. Okay, here another job comes in. Okay, a deployment job. After this again, test job, running the Selenium test cases. There already unit tests happened. Again, maybe functional testing or integration testing may happen here. So this is how your pipeline will continue. Got an idea what we'll be doing? It's not yet completed. Deploy job. Okay, and then again test job. So in this deploy job, Docker may be involved, Ansible jobs, again test monitoring job and so on. This is how pipeline continues. Got it, everyone? We are halfway through. Like this, step by step, we'll be building the pipeline in our course on a code base available. So that is all from my end. Any questions you have, you can let me know. Also, I'll share you the document for AWS free account creation. So please confirm me to proceed further, and so that I can share you the documents for tomorrow's class. Okay.
Okay,
Love to
Preethi,
read.
last one.
Tell me.
Is it any difference between Azure DevOps and DevOps, or is it both are the same?
DevOps is the strategy, means it's a methodology, it's a process. So it is same whether you implement it on AWS or Azure or GCP or on-premise. That's the first thing. But where does this difference comes in? The difference comes in, you can, like in the course content, yeah. See, the difference comes, all these tools are same, whether you implement on Azure or AWS or GCP or on-premise, all this is same. The difference comes in these services. Last, you have some services, right? AWS Core Deploy, AWS Cloud Formation, AWS Build. These services are provided by AWS to implement DevOps strategy effectively. Similarly, if you are implementing DevOps on Azure, they may offer you certain services to implement the methodology. That's where the difference comes in. But the difference is very minute. If you know the DevOps strategy in any platform, you could implement it in any other platform, right? These are not mandatory because they are specific to the course. This is like a additional content, you can say. Okay, the tools, the strategies, those are important. That's how you implement DevOps rather than using the services, because the services are confined only to that platform. Got it, Sharad, where the difference comes in? That's a very small difference. You could implement the DevOps without using the tools as services as well.
Okay, okay. Thanks.
Any more queries? So that is all from my end. You could reach me, confirm me to proceed further, so that I'll share you the document for the lab setup tomorrow. Okay, you can reach the organizers, like whoever will share the link with you to proceed further. Okay, thank you all once again for joining me on this demo session and spending your valuable time here. I love to see you in our course. See you all. Thank you all once again, and bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Preethi.